Well, welcome everyone. I see people jumping on. I am here with Andrew Weissman, and we have the pleasure tonight of sharing with you as we do our Master UFO and our 53 Challenge series, talking a little bit about how to start someone the right way and get them rolling. Right, Andrew?
Exactly. I love this topic. And I think it's obviously critically important because when you personally sponsor a new UnFranchise and our new partner for your team, we want to make sure that we set the right systems, tools, and fundamentals in motion. And as we all know, what we set in motion carries in motion. It's important to take the time, to properly coach and guide a new UnFranchise owner to put them on the right track.
It's crucial. I agree. And, a lot of times the first 90 days really make a difference in the career of that person, getting them started fast, getting them rolling the right way. And we're going to try to give you some tips that are we think very simple and easy to duplicate as well as you do this. Tell us where you're from. I see some of you doing that. I see people from Delaware. Hey, Penny Lafferty, good to have you on. We've got Fred Bull all the way from Economowoc, 4 miles away from me, Andrew.
Yeah, awesome.
We
Malaysia.
people on from Malaysia as well, it looks like. So people coming in from all over. We are going to jump team right into this because we don't want to shortchange you on anything, and we have a lot to talk about. So I am going to share my screen. Hopefully I'm going to share my screen. There we go. I'm sharing my screen in 1 second. And Andrew, we are going to be ready to jump into this. And we do this team on a weekly basis, and I do want to make sure everyone knows that there is a library of this on our Market America YouTube station. It is one of the tools that everybody. So as we talk about new people, Andrew, we had started a new person about a week ago with someone on our team, and one of the first things I did is you've got to subscribe to our Market America YouTube station. She has told me she is listening or watching things 2, 3, and 4 hours a day because there's so much there to be able to absorb in a quick manner. And we've got every one of these Master UFO action plans is there. And that includes back when Dennis and I did the first set of 12 going on to now, this is our second session after that with using the whole team. So really wonderful.
Jim, these weekly sessions, we of course there's selected topics in a schedule, and all these sessions have been really valuable. So I'm glad that they're recorded and they're available for a replay because there's so much really great information that can be utilized. And you can even have your team, if you have a new UnFranchise owner that you've just started, you can actually have them watch this session if you want. The point is that we put these up for a replay for a reason, and hopefully you utilize it and help you, grow your business. That's ultimately what it's all about. It's been a lot of fun doing these. And I think, the whole our global community of UnFranchise owners, those who are sincere and serious about making progress in the development of their business, are connected and have registered for the 53 Challenge, and I think it's great because we're obviously, if you put the time, energy, and effort in and perform the result producing activities, it's only a matter of time before you ultimately reach your personal and financial goals with this business plan,
Absolutely. And, here's some of the training guideline from the 13, 14 weeks we've been doing it. I know you did a session, I believe, Andrew, that was a leaderboard recognition that was really fun, where we had a number of the top leaders on who are leading with the 53 Challenge. Remember, this isn't just 53 Challenge team. This is hitting Master UFO, but using 53 Challenge to help you hit that as well. So lots of fun things to take a look at and be able to review as we go through this. But, we're going to talk tonight about an important subject because, we work so hard to bring people in, Andrew, and I keep wanting to say AW. We have an Andrew Weissman and we have an Andrew Chi, so I'm very used to saying AW to him. So if I do that, you'll know why. But you work so hard, to get someone to look at it, to make sure they qualify as the right person. you want to then make sure you do the steps to do it right after you bring them in, right?
Exactly. I mean, registering somebody new in the business, obviously is a good thing, but it's not what's most important. What's most important is their success, and that's why the evaluation approach with the trial run, the no decision close, that process really is valuable because somebody can start to succeed, make some progress even before they officially register their business. You know what I'm saying? So practicing that principle has proven to be effective for years, and yeah.
And I'm going to take another way. If you're watching this thing and you say, wow, you know, my sponsor didn't do this with me, or I didn't have this done for me. What I'm going to tell you is that's great. You know why? Because you're taking the time to be on here. You have the ability to learn. You have the ability to be the sponsor your sponsor wasn't, and do that. So always look at it with that positive mindset of, okay, I can take control of this now because I know what to do. I'll be better than the person who brought me in if they weren't great. Some of you had incredible sponsors, I'm sure, and teammates, and you're very happy with that. But again, we're just going to give you some of the easy guidelines. And, our model is a systematized approach to creating a profitable and stable retail driven business. I'm going to repeat that: profitable and stable retail driven business. And the tasks that we ask unfranchise owners to do have been proven out over 30 years. Andrew and I are not going to ask you to do anything we haven't done personally, or anything that we haven't taught for 30 years on how to be successful, because there's a key way to doing this business, and that doesn't change. And we take in to the ever-changing, the habits of the ever-changing buyers and customers. So all those things are thought about as we go through this and we talk about it. And what are our fundamentals? Sell products, sell the business, sell tickets and education, and be your own best customer. That is really all you have to do to do a great job with this business.
You need to keep the business simple. Obviously, it's very sophisticated. There's a lot of components, a lot of tools, a lot of systems, and especially on the onset, all the information can be overwhelming. I mean, we acknowledge that. We just want to encourage you to go through the process, because we're all adults and we learn best through experiences. And so because we're experiential learners, the best way to learn is to give it a try, make the mistakes, learn from those mistakes, ask questions. And to your point, Jim, some people are very fortunate to have a great sponsor. Others, their sponsors, maybe they're not active in the business anymore for whatever reason. But the great thing about the unfranchised business is that we have a community, and people support each other regardless of their line of sponsorship. You see, and you have access to all these tools and systems and information, audios, videos, like you were mentioning on the onset of this broadcast. So there's no excuse, because the information is there, and you can connect with somebody, to hold you accountable and have some fun through the process. That's something we really encourage. In fact, it's our chairman and CEO's number one rule. You have to have fun in developing the business. Rule number one. So owning an unfranchised business, we really encourage, as I've mentioned, that a new person goes through the evaluation approach, gives the products a try, asks questions. More than likely, through the process, they lead to people that they respect enough to have them evaluate the business with the person that introduced them. You see? So the point is, over some time, going through the trial run or test market process, ultimately you end up having one or two people that are also interested in the business, and you probably have people that want to order products. The point is, the business can start to work for you before you officially register. And that is a very effective way to approach this, because it enables you it prevents or dramatically minimizes any wasted time with the wrong people. We've all made the mistake of working with the people who aren't really sincere or serious about growing their business, and we want to try to avoid that, and you learn through those mistakes as well. We've all done that.
Yeah, we have.
And by doing this,
I learned early on, you have to really work with the people. When we say work with, you work with everyone, but the ones you're going to spend your biggest amount of time with are not necessarily the ones who need it. There might be a lot of people who need it, but it's the ones who want it, the ones who will match your effort, the ones when you give them 2 hours, they go out and they put in 6 hours. And that's the way you've got to think, because that's the only way you ever create leverage through what you're doing. The other ones we love, they're great people, and they may need the business dramatically, but if they don't do the right things, it just, you can't do it for them. That's a big key.
And we're fortunate to have a getting started guide. Many of you who have tuned in, I'm sure you're familiar with the getting started guide. I'm hopeful that many of you are utilizing this. I think it's a very underutilized tool that has a lot of value if it's used, because it really captures all the tasks and activities that are necessary to implement to ensure success in the business, and it's all laid out it's very organized, and everything is there, So going forward,
you can find this in your unfranchise.com back office. You can print it off. You can order them. They come with a fast start kit, right? With our business, with our subscription. And there's multiple ways of using this. As Andrew was talking about it, you can use it before you start a person. One of the things Dennis and I always used to talk about is a lot of times we like to walk through the first couple pages before we do the registration. Make sure we're all on the same page. We understand that what Andrew and I are about to talk about for that new business partner, that they get it. Some people I know, they're scared to do that. They're like, oh, if I do that, what if the person thinks it's too much? Well, it's okay to find out where they stand. In fact, you should have done that beforehand. But to not use this at all really puts your new person at risk. I will tell you that. So you want to have the getting started guide printed and ready. By the way, when you do a registration, Andrew, it's not 20 minutes, right? Usually for me, that registration I just did was about an hour and a half. But by the time we're done, we've gone through the getting started guide. She walks out with a ticket to the next event. We've discussed when the next trainings are. All the things we do in the business, we covered because it's right there for you when you do this the right way.
And what we invest more than anything else in the business, as you know, Jim, is time. And some people might think, well, an hour and a half, that's a long time. Well, the truth of the matter is that's valuable time that you invested in your new partner. And keep in mind, what you set in motion carries in motion, like we said earlier. So this whole business is about duplicating the right systems, tools, fundamentals, and principles. And if you don't set somebody on the right course, they're more than likely they're not going to succeed. They can, but we want to increase the chances for success by putting them on the right track, and utilizing the getting started guide is one of the necessary practices that ensures that. So on the first page of the getting started guide, when you open it, of course, there's a congratulatory message, and it simply just indicates the fact that, as with any traditional franchise, the key to it is how able and how effective somebody is at implementing the proven business plan. With the unfranchised business, those same principles apply, and there are necessary tasks and activities that, if implemented, will ensure success, Jim. And so that's what we're diving into. And as I mentioned, the investment here is time. If somebody had $100,000 and they put it into the business, it would do nothing to get them closer toward their ultimate goal. So this equation has been around for almost 30 years. JR created it, and I'll quickly take you through it. The capital T, of course, stands for time, and the exponent Q refers to quality time. You're going to learn all the things that we're going to talk about is about how to invest quality time. And you do that by performing the result producing activities and the basic 5 fundamentals, which have remained the same for almost 30 years. Okay. So if you don't try to reinvent the wheel, you just simply are coachable enough and implement these things that we're going to be talking about, you will be increasing your quality time, which will result in growth, which is the G. And as I mentioned, it's all about duplication, which is the D, the exponent D. So if we put quality time into the business, we're going to get duplication and growth, and it will result in more BV and IBV, which, as we all know, translates into more frequent and bigger commissions. But it takes time, and I think, Jim, one other point I want to make before we go to the next slide is that I think it's critically important to manage expectations. This is a 2 to 3 year business plan. You can compress it and do a lot more in a shorter period of time, and obviously the business will grow faster, or you can do less and the business will take longer to develop. you see? But we help you develop a detailed plan of action based on what you want and when you want it and what you're willing to give by way of time, energy, and effort that you're going to invest in the business. It's ultimately about you, the new unfranchised owner, and then translating the things that you want into the business so the business takes on meaning, for you. And that's what we coach.
You said this so good, Andrew, and went through it. And like you said, quality time. And that's really what we started with, was it? What's quality time? Using and sharing your products, sharing the business opportunity, attending and promoting events, and being the best user you can be a product. So that's quality time. Everything else is extra. And we're going to try to put that all together for you, because what Andrew went through, what JR created, this has really been the focus for success in the business, is doing things that are duplicatable. Why do we talk about the Getting Started Guide? It's duplicatable. I can't, how many times, Andrew, have we met people, and really smart people, good people, who had great ideas, but they were often left and right, and they didn't follow the system, and they did something that they were great at, and for a short term we saw them grow, but it couldn't duplicate. And because it couldn't duplicate, they never got to those heights they could have been if they had stayed with a system that would not only duplicate, but they could use their talents in.
That's exactly right. And what we're trying to avoid is wasted time.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that's something we can't get back. And as we get older, as we all know, time moves by so fast. It's actually scary. We want to make sure. And one of the premise of the business is to invest time, energy, and effort so the income can start to be more consistent. And that, what's interesting, or maybe ironic, is the fact that creates more time. Yeah. And we've had, of course, many people around the world that have been able to accomplish that, implementing the tasks and activities that are outlined in the Getting Started Guide and following the unfranchised proven business plan.
Yeah. This, with that, this is my favorite page, or one of my favorite pages in the whole Getting Started Guide. And I'll tell you why. It's because it's where they make that commitment, developing their unfranchised business. We've got it written off to the side so you can see it a little bit better. But, when I did this a week ago, I asked the person, do you commit for a year? 12 months. I said, what I'm telling you is, if in a month you're frustrated, you need to stay 11 more months. At the end of a year, if you're not happy, quit on that day. But you don't know anything if you don't, especially a business, if you don't give it 12 months of doing it correctly. Exactly. Then I asked, would you commit the time, 8 to 15 hours a week? When can you do it? And asking that, she checked it off. Yes, I can. Would you purchase a ticket? We've got a local coming up in a week. She said, I had to work. She made a call, got off work. Great, bought the ticket. Convert spending into earning by visiting unfranchise.com and completing the shopping annuity assessment. Learn what we have and all the different things that we have. Listen to a minimum of 2 audios or videos each week. Boy, I'm going to tell you, a new person, if I was starting today with all the things we have, that I would be it'd be hard to get sleep, because I'd be watching, listening, trying to pick up the language of what people say, the nuances of how they do it. Implement the Master Unfranchise Owner Program criteria. So we have that on the back of this. We'll talk about that for a little bit later, but just to get into their mind, we don't expect people to hit Master UFO the first quarter. That'd be fantastic, wouldn't it? But we do want them to know what it is so they understand it. But I'll tell you, and Andrew and I were talking about this earlier today, and he's wearing his 53 challenge shirt, which I love. But if you bring on a new person now, should they start on the 53 challenge?
Yes.
Right. That answer is yes. Why? Because it's a very simple way for them to monitor what they're doing, to get some accountability, and to make sure they're at least looking at the tasks and activities that should be done. So I'm going to repeat that. We started that new person. We took her to the 53 challenge. We put her on a team. And we registered her for the challenge. Why? Because it just makes sense that now she does it. Does it mean she'll be perfect at it? No. In fact, it means she'll probably screw it up a whole bunch. But I think Andrew said this earlier. We're a business of doing, and we get better by doing than we do by just listening or watching. So that's something we would really recommend for all of you. basic 5 fundamentals. That's everything we're going to talk about tonight. And then develop your 10 preferred customers. You know, it says a minimum. Guys, I want to push you a little bit. We want to push you a little bit. It doesn't, you can go well beyond 10. I know you can. Many of us have 2 or 3 or 4 who order, but I know you can take it to another level with customers. And in fact, after this presentation, we're doing a presentation with the sales team on how to retail your way to the international convention and how to increase your retail. I recommend you jump into that, because retailing is so vital for what we want to do with the business.
You know, retailing is one of the basic 5. You know, it's one element. It's the third element of the basic 5. It's been that way for almost 30 years, and we're fortunate to have products that are market driven, that really perform, that get results, and people benefit from, that are competitively priced at the retail, at retail, and while also leaving a nice healthy margin for the retail profit to be received immediately to us as unfranchised owners. I think everything needs to be kept in proper perspective. At the end of the day, everything's relative, isn't it? It's good or it's bad or it's hard or it's easy. You got to compare it to something. Everything that we talk about, all these duplicatable tasks and activities, anybody and everybody can do. They can do it, provided they make that commitment and try. You have to give it a try. And so we just encourage you to do that. So going forward in the guide, after Jim went through the different check boxes as far as the commitment goes, which is really not all that much. We're talking about created following the unfranchised business plan. So the commitment is really not all that much. But what we want to do next is start to enter dates in our calendar. We want to schedule an unfranchised business presentation. Want to schedule over the next month or two a new unfranchised owner training, which is required training. Also a basic 5 in the first couple of months. And Jim, you just said it. You sold a ticket to your new partner to the next event. And for many of us, the next event is the international convention. Maybe there's some locals that are going to be happening, but we just came off the Northern Regional, the Mideast Regional, and of course we had the Asia Pacific event. So it's really, we're red hot and rolling as an enterprise, and the next major event, of course, is the international convention. So what gets scheduled gets done, something I learned from Kevin Buckman years ago. And then I've mentioned, and so has Jim, result producing activities. In this Getting Started guide, there's actually a page dedicated to a possibilities list. And we just want to list people's names. Everybody has a mobile device. You actually have a list right here. But the point of the matter is, out of all the people that you know, directly or indirectly, there are people that need and want our products. And there are people who have an interest or are seeking to find a business that they can, nonetheless, it doesn't matter. The point of the matter is, in times of recession with the other economy, not this economy, but the other economy, our business tends to really thrive because people are much more open-minded, because they have more of a need and a sense of urgency to generate another revenue stream. These principles and fundamentals that we're talking about now. So I just think we have it's like a perfect storm, kind of. You know what I'm saying? You really think about it.
And I agree with you completely on what you just said. It was a great point. I'm glad you took the time to say it and for people to really understand it. And, one of the questions I'll get sometimes, Andrew, is, well, how fast should I take someone through like an NUOT or a basic 5, or how fast do you get them to a local seminar? I'm going to give you my philosophy. I like to get people there as quickly as possible. Some people say, well, what if it's information overload? I let them know that ahead of time. And again, when you take time to do a registration and then you send someone to an NUOT, a lot of times as I was doing this registration, I was saying to the person, I'm taking time now, but when you go to the training, you'll already know this because we've talked about it. So it's not an overload, but the more someone is trained, remember, if you're building 2 teams and one team went to trainings, everybody went in the first 30 days, and one team, nobody went until they were 4 months in the business. Common sense, tell me, which one do you think would do better? Put it in the chat. Team 1, which goes in the first 30 days, or team 2, which doesn't go until after 4 months? Which one would do better? And I think we all would say team 1. So don't be shy about telling people how to be successful. That's what I'm saying to you. Don't be scared to do it, because you should have set that up the whole way to be able to do it. You know, one of the things you're doing as we're going through this, you're listing your primary reasons you're building the business, your why, your goal statement. You know, one of the things I love doing, Andrew, I've downloaded the business building app. I think I've told you this and you've shared with me before, but the
Mhm.
business building app that we have, Unfranchised Business Building app, there's a section that says your why. Well, in that section, I also wrote my goals. And the reason I did that is that way, every time I go to that app, I know I'm seeing my goals as well as my why when I'm going to the app. And it also that allows me to get a higher score on my 53 challenge, which is what really motivated me to do that. Dennis, you'd be proud, I know.
Well done.
You know, it also allows us to review our daily tasks and activities, as we talked about, and build that foundation. Andrew's mentioned it a couple times. Base 10, 7 strong, which is, you know, one of the things I learned very early, Andrew, was nobody leaves the business who has a good retail base. They never leave. Why? They love the products. They're making money retailing. And then they get focused on, how do I build a business, a bigger business out of that besides my retail business?
Yeah, listen, we're built on product. We're fortunate to have market-driven products that, like I said, are competitively priced at retail and yield a nice, healthy retail profit for us as unfranchised owners. And I think it's important, Jim, to keep everything in proper perspective, you know, and you mentioned the why. It's important to really be clear on what your purpose is in developing the business, why you're developing the business, because there are going to be some ups and downs. You will be frustrated. There are people that are going to say no. There are going to be people that are going to say you're crazy or whatever the case, but you can't allow those people those thoughts, those ideas to infiltrate your own thinking. You know, you're a smart person. You know what I mean? You identify with the business. You know, you're pursuing this for your own purpose, your own reasons. And it's important to be clear about it, not just for yourself, because it'll sustain you and maintain you through the ups and downs you will experience, but it's also critically important to express that to others.
Yeah.
To express that to others as you're developing the business and you're talking to people about the business, because as you express what your purpose is, other people that you're talking to will start to think about their own situation, their own circumstances, and it'll stimulate their own thinking. And it may even prompt them to be like, well, you know, how can I look at that? Or, you know what I'm saying? They'll gravitate toward you. So I think it's a great, you know, prospecting principle, you know, that I think
And
is
another great
important.
reason for that business building app, Andrew, is that houses all of our media now. So if someone wants to listen to, you know, when you're trying to keep that, you said it beautifully. There are ups and downs, and your mind, you know, can play tricks on you. Well, if you're listening to positive things on your media app, I'm going to guarantee you are going to do better in the business, and keep yourself strong mentally, and that's what Andrew was talking about with that.
Amen. And never, like you said earlier, Jim, we tell people what to do, not in a authoritative, dictatorial type of a way, but in a coaching, guiding, mentorship type of a way. And if you all, I think we all agree, we're all kind of, we're all used to being told what to do, right? You know, at a job, in school, you know, so actually it's better to just lay it out and never apologize for it. This is the plan. You know, this is the business plan. These are the tasks and activities. If somebody is sincere and serious about succeeding, then they will take the action. Right. So as we move forward through the guide, we want to schedule a call workshop with the partner or a senior partner, you know, to execute that. Schedule a one-on-one or two-on-ones, you know, based on your possibilities list. It's good to kind of work through and talk about the people that you know, and what you know about them, so that your sponsor or your senior partner can work with you in contacting those people. You know, product previews and wellness events are very, very effective, especially if they're in person, but they're also effective to do via Zoom. Nothing wrong with that. And now we've been using Shop Live a lot more in the past few weeks. And we've had this for a while, and I was one of the guilty ones of not really taking advantage of the technology, but it works, right, Jim?
Yeah, same here. And boy, are we loving it now, right?
We are, and we're helping people. We're supporting the field and retailing their way to the international convention with the sessions that we have scheduled. Home business presentations, you know, need to be scheduled. Download Shop Buddy, which is a great tool. It's a free download to your browser. And then as we start to learn how to talk fluent Market America and unfranchised business lingo and and then the themes that are associated with our enterprise. You don't need to talk like an experienced unfranchised owner. You just really need to be yourself more than anything else, but learn the themes, practice the themes, and actually, as a new unfranchised owner, you can use that to your advantage, because you're not going to know how to talk like Jim Winkler, you know what I'm saying, or an Elizabeth Weber, or you know what I mean, or an Amber Yang, or a Drayton Hodo. The point is, you're just yourself, and by just expressing the truth that you've just started a business that you're learning, but you see a lot of potential, and here's why I'm developing it. You're going to have somebody more than likely that will probably be willing to schedule an appointment to evaluate it, you know, and of course your why and having your goal statement. Once again, all these things that we're talking about are outlined and provide a little explanation and a guideline in this getting started guide.
That was beautiful. And you're right. People just need to be themselves. They need to be honest. It's like what we were doing with retailing, where we got so many people on the Shop Lives by saying, hey, we're trying a new technology. We're not that good at it, but we want you to see it and tell us what you think. Nothing perfect, but getting customers on easily doing that.
Exactly.
So then we go to this next part. Add and cultivate 2 possibilities daily. You know, this is something, Andrew, I still have to work with. I was very good at it. I got out of the habit a little bit, so I've got it on my phone to keep, because you know what it is? We run into people all the time, but if your mindset isn't in that great mindset of I'm looking for possibilities, you forget to write them down. If I don't write them down, I lose track of them. So put it right in your phone. It's a simple way to do it. By the way, Lee, listen to JR's Master Recruiting on the audio series, and it'll really add some things to you. Call 1 to 3 of those prospects from your list. As you build the list, start calling 1 to 3 of them. Ask them to evaluate. Ask if they might know the right people. Promote your business by word of mouth, social media. Again, there's different ways of doing that and different ways of doing it correctly. We talk about present the business plan twice per week. You know, I know. I saw Carmen Ames on here, Andrew, and I know we had her on one of our 53 sessions, where she's getting the plan sometimes in front of 10 to 15 prospects per week. Now that goes back to JR's method of you cannot fail if you get it in front of 2 people per week. And I know that's a lot for people, but at the same time, if you want a lot, you do a lot to get there. And in reality, 2 plans might take a total of 2 hours. So let's not get too crazy on how long it takes. Follow up with the people, invite them to earn cash back as customers, listen to those audios and videos, use your own products, become a great product user. Lisa and I are always adding new products to what we're doing. In fact, it's getting to a point, it's like, it seems like every day I have to get something else ordered, because we're running out of it between our household, between our nutrition, between our cosmetics. It's wonderful though, because that's creating BV for the entire team every time we've replaced a product in our home. And then read your goal statement. I don't think anything can help you more than reading a goal statement to keep you laser focused on where you want to go.
Yeah, look, I mean, you know, those were the daily tasks, you know, an example of what somebody could do on a daily basis. The business can only be built 1 day at a time. You know, we all have the same amount of time to deal with. We just want to make sure, once again, that the time we're investing in our business is quality time. So by following, you know, those daily tasks, you'll put yourself in a position to where, you know, you kind of can't help but succeed, because you end up you're creating new customers. Customers are leading to other customers through good follow-up and word of mouth. And, you know, we're looking to have, you know, the bean jar full, if you will. The nuts always do rise to the top. People will identify themselves as the ones who are interested in evaluating the business. And, you know, showing the plan 1 to 2 times per week is really not that much. And you think about it, time goes by so fast. I'm guilty of it. All of a sudden, a month goes by. You maybe show the plan 1 time. Like, what happened? You know what I mean? We got to get these habits.
Yeah, you felt busy the whole time, right? You felt busy the whole time. How did I only do once?
No results, though. No results. The whole point is we have to, and sometimes we get off track. It's okay. We just got to get back on track and start practicing these daily tasks until they become habitual. And once something becomes a habit, you can't help it, because it's a lifestyle, you know. At any rate, so Base 10, 7 strong. You mentioned it toward the beginning of the presentation. It's a principle that actually Dennis coined the phrase base 10, 7 strong. It's about getting that foundation built. You know, you want to build our business from a solid foundation. So base 10 just simply refers to an unfranchised owner creating a base of a minimum of 10 customers, each customer creating a minimum of 40 BV per month, which is really not, it's just a couple of products.
It could be daily essentials packets. You
Exactly.
got 10 customers, one person each using that for a month, and you're creating 400. And if you're using 100, you're at 500 total right away.
And the partners that we want to invest our time, energy, and effort with want to make sure they're productive, that they're also getting results. And so if each person we're working with is generating 500 BV at a minimum, mainly because they have a minimum of 10 customers plus their own personal use because they're a product of the product, it really doesn't take that many people to start to generate an income, you know, because look, we're looking for 300 a month. You can't make $21 to $3,600 per week until you make 300 a month first. And 300 a month, having 3 people on the left and 3 on the right, each having a base of 10 customers and using their own products, you're there.
Yeah.
300 a month.
Right. And it's perfect. You know, you're hearing us talk a lot about retailing with starting a new person. And we do that for a reason. What's a win? A win is when something positive happened. Would you guys agree? Well, retailing is a win right away. It's right away winning because they're moving products, they're creating BV, and they're seeing success. So what you have to do is you have to select the right products and services, and you have to know those support materials of where you're focused on. And then teach the retailing process. Everything from, in fact, tonight, Andrew, we're going to be covering how to approach someone about products, how to close someone to purchase, maybe in a group setting. What are some great ways to do that, and how to follow up. But those are things you should learn on a regular, and some you're going to learn by doing, some you're going to do so bad, and then you're going to laugh at yourself and you're going to be better the next time. And you know what? That's perfect.
Exactly.
You know, learn to show the plan, implement a schedule, buddy plan. I know my first few plans, I said to people, can I practice on you? You know, can I practice on you? Teach the evaluation approach. Andrew is one of the best ever at that, the no decision close. He and JR are so good at this, but it's so important because they can get to other people, book appointments, do evaluations, whether it be a part 1, a part 2, and then just follow up. This is our basic 5 of moving through everything, team, that you can do.
That's right. By the way, for those who don't know, part 1 is we're talking about the unfranchised business presentation. The PowerPoint takes you from the beginning up until the 5 steps. And then part 2 is the 5 steps.
And you know, there's great videos. Again, I know I reference videos a lot because I know a lot of you're with us at night. You're learners. You want to learn. Well, there's an 8-minute, it's only, I think, 8 or 9 minutes, the intro video to everything up to the plan. And then the whole video, including the plan, is only 18 minutes, Andrew. It's beautiful and so easy and so well done.
And don't be afraid to watch the video with a prospect. I mean, that's showing the plan. Right. But you're going to get to a point where you're going to want to actually explain it using the PowerPoint. You know what I mean? Because you're going to get more confident as the knowledge builds. But that's a great and very effective and duplicatable practice. Okay. So base 10, 7 strong, we talked about base 10, 7 strong. You understand now what that means. And as I've already kind of mentioned, you know, having 3 on the left and 3 on the right who've implemented this principle, now you're earning $300 a month because actually 1,500 BV is being created and flowing up and being deposited in your left and right banks. Now, if you duplicate that one time down, so now Mark and Kate, you know, you can refer to your getting started guide if you can't see this very clearly, but the point is Mark and Kate, wow, Jim, what such a talent you are.
People what you're showing there.
Such a talent. Wow.
You're very talented.
Mark and Kate now look to create base 10, 7 strong for themselves. And if they do that, they're now earning $300 a month and you automatically earning $600 a month in commissions, not even including, wow, Jim, your talent, this is just unbelievable. I mean, not even including the retail profits. Remember, there's 2 ways to earn commissions and retail profits. So the whole point here is that we've set a system in motion, a principle in motion that will create a solid foundation. You mentioned it. Those who have a customer base and earning retail profits, they generally don't leave the business, you know, but we're only making sure that our time and energy is working with those people that are striving, to accomplish base 10, 7 strong, continuously and consistently striving to, add possibilities to their possibilities list and reaching out and connecting with people, developing relationships. So 1 or 2, plans are shown each week. And by doing that, just with a few people, a core group, you'll be surprised how much can be accomplished. In fact, listen, our whole company started with just a couple of people, and now we're in 8 countries with this global enterprise, and still just getting started, by the way.
You know what was funny? Not funny, but when I looked at this business initially, one of the things that really attracted me to it, Andrew, was the fact of how much you could accomplish with a small number of people. Because I researched over 40 different companies in that home-based industry at that time, and they all required thousands of people to make what I considered not huge money. And here I looked at it and saw that a small group of people, because we focused on retailing, because we had such high quality retailable products, could generate a lot of volume. And it really is a category of one, as we talk about. It's very special team as you look at this.
Well said. I just want to piggyback on that with one statement. That is, we are so fortunate to have the most lucrative yet most realistic compensation plan that's ever been created. The most lucrative yet most realistic compensation plan that's ever been created. It is so powerful. And it's just a matter of, once again, being coachable, not trying to reinvent the wheel, but just practicing these tasks and activities that we've been talking about for the past 40 minutes or so with the guide, utilizing the videos and the audios, and having fun being yourself and just being consistent. It's only a matter of time.
Yeah, I saw someone write on there, you two are too funny, but we have fun with whatever we do. It's what you're supposed to do. It's what you need to do in this business. And, when we talk follow-up, the biggest key is stay consistent with what you're doing. If someone buys from you, call them and see how the product's working. If you meet with somebody, I can't tell you how many times over the years I've met people said, yeah, I saw the business plan from this guy, Bill, but he never called me again. And it's like, come on, guys, you took the effort to do that. Follow up. And, I know sometimes people think, oh, am I being pushy, Andrew? Good business is good follow-up. It's not we never want to be pushy. We never want to be aggressive on somebody, but what we do want to do is we want to do good business with them, and we want to follow up. People ask me, how long do you follow up? I follow up till they either say, I'm interested, or they say interested in starting, or they say, I'm not interested. Either answer is perfect to me.
And what they can do too is they can test it out, give it a try some products, get their questions answered.
Evaluation.
Using the evaluation approach, the no decision close, the trial run. Look, I mean, I think it's important to, and I mentioned this at the Northern Regional when I was with the great team up there, and that is, you have to respect the business that you own, because it's extremely valuable. We never need to apologize for it. We don't need to we can be forthright. We can be friendly, fair, and firm. We can tell people what needs to be done if they expect to experience success in the business, and we never need to twist anybody's arm and try to get them into this. That's the worst thing to do, because it's only going to frustrate you and it's going to frustrate them. That's why the evaluation approach is so effective, because it's comfortable. It enables you to attract people who are worth your time, energy, and effort. And it also enables you to determine if they're worth your time, energy, and effort, because they're actually doing something. But there's the page I mentioned earlier, the possibilities list, right in the getting started guide, and then the organizational chart. The goal is to have a minimum of 4 committed, what we call go now unfranchise owners on the left, and then 4 committed go now unfranchise owners on the right. There's just something about having 4 on the left and 4 on the right, regardless of where their position is in the organization, but your business more than likely will probably grow with you or without you. But the point is, we've got to put those people in place. In order to find those people, to attract those people, we've got to do the things that we've talked about in the past 45 minutes.
That's right. And then we also have the Master Unfranchise Owner Program. Everything we've been showing you right in that simple getting started guide, very, very duplicatable. We're going to wrap up here in the next couple minutes. You know, we mentioned before, make sure you get your new people. This is a big key, in our opinion, to starting a person right. That's getting them on and going with the 53 challenge. It's so important for accountability and just knowing what to do. Now, when you start someone, what are some things we need to talk about? And I'm going to move through these rather quickly, but I want you to think about it. Set up their business account for commission deposits. So you need to let them know that when they're coming over, they may need to have their checkbook or their routing and account number to be able to do that. What are you doing? You're putting into their head that they're going to be earning commissions right away. Don't just skip it and say, oh, you can do it later, because you know what? People don't. Review the BV and IBV auto placement. And Andrew, we need to announce to this crew today, it came out by UnFranchise News as well, but the auto placement there is now set to automatically go wherever you have it. And there's a toggle you can move if you want to place it yourself. So make sure you go to your auto placement area and look at that. People like myself, I want to auto place it. I want, when it comes in, I want to know where I'm putting it. Some people don't even want to hassle with it. Don't respond to the email. It'll place it right away now, but that did come out for you today. Go through the auto ship. Don't skip this. We went through, we set it up, we explained it, we let her know she could change it. Accept the communications on her notifications. Register preferred customers. Show them how to do that. You know what's funny? I can't believe someone starts a new person, Andrew, and doesn't show them how to place an order, how to create a receipt, or how to register a customer. Those are the three things to me that have to be done if you expect them to do anything in the next little bit. You know, show them how to invite friends during cash back. Andrew mentioned earlier the shopping assessment. I mentioned the product order, the apps we've already talked about, the training Zooms and the shop lives that are going on, inventory management. Now, I did not go into that with the new person, but that's another thing you can at least give them a quick, here's what you'll be doing at the end of a quarter. We did set the dates. All the things we're talking about here take a little bit of time, but they put the person so much further ahead. The main three, though, I'm going to give you again are what? Make sure they know how to place their own order, make sure they know how to create a receipt, and make sure they know how to create a preferred customers. Those are absolute minimums into what you do.
And it really doesn't take that much time to do that, you know, right? And so I guess just to kind of, I guess we're coming in for a landing. You know, this whole process is simple. It does take some time and energy, but it's worth it. We know that it's worth it. So work with your sponsor. If you don't have a sponsor that's active in the business, look to your senior partners. You know, the whole business is based on supporting other people, helping them to succeed. So your senior partners have a financial interest in your success. Be coachable. Do your homework. You know, we talked about audios and videos and information that can be accessed. A lot of information that you can, and knowledge you can gain just on your own. Act with a sense of urgency. Now, this is really dependent on you, based on what your goals are, you know, what you want and when you want it. It's important to have sincerity and enthusiasm, be passionate about what you do. You know, you've heard the phrase, it's not so much what you say, but how you say it type of thing, right? You can't say the wrong thing to the right person. At the end of the day, it's not about how much knowledge that you have as much as it is your belief in yourself and the business and why you're pursuing the development of your business, right? Which comes down to a commitment and always, you know, support your teammates. You know, it says, do what you say. You know, mean, what is it? What's the phrase? Be what you say, say what you mean and do what you say. I don't know. I think
close.
Do what you say. Just be truthful, be yourself, be authentic. You know, we're a category of one, and there's nobody and no other company that can come close to what we have. And we're just so fortunate to have such a great community of unfranchised owners to
you know, and I love what you said in so many words. Be honest, be upfront, be yourself, and do your best to help that new person become successful, because that is your future. Because their success is your success, and the success of the people they bring on as they hopefully duplicate what you taught them will also be your future. It's what I love about the company, Andrew. The way we succeed is by helping others. There's nothing better you can do than picking up the phone and calling some people and getting them to this event. And when you register a new person, selling them a ticket to that event. We went through that with our new person. She couldn't come up and be able to buy it immediately, but it's already on the radar. She's going to the local in 1 week. Guess what we'll be doing there? We'll have the ticket right in front of her again. You know what the local, sometimes you have to take a step to get to the next step, but this is what we want to get them to eventually, is this 30-year celebration.
You can, I mean, there's no shortcut to the unfranchised business. It is a 2 to 3 year plan. But to really work smart and to really invest quality time in the business, you got to be at the international convention, and even better, have teammates at the international convention with you, because they will gain the belief, the knowledge, the information. They will move forward and grow their business with you or without you. And obviously they'll be with you because you're not going to leave. You know what I'm saying? But the point is, you can accomplish so much in would normally take months, as far as becoming acclimated in the business, the knowledge, the information, the camaraderie, the connectivity. And there's so much information you can learn just by networking with other fellow unfranchised owners beyond what happens on the general session.
Right.
So it's just going to be phenomenal. Make sure you get the tickets, and we look forward to you joining us and celebrating 30 years of entrepreneurial success and free.
AW, as always, a great time sharing some time with you and going through this. Thank you to everybody who took time with us this evening. And again, if you want to learn how to retail, we'll have that presentation coming up in a few minutes. But we appreciate that you were on tonight and look forward to seeing you again next week on Wednesday. We'll have another Master UFO training. Take care, everyone.
Everybody, have a good day and night.
Day and night.